Hey everybody. I know it's been 4 months, and I said that I was going to do devlogs every 2 months at the most. Well, I'm wrong and also stupid, but I'm also not a YouTuber. I'm a game developer. So it's kind of hard to manage to make time to put a devlog together every couple of weeks, and also with the way this project is progressing, it's kind of difficult to actually make footage to show you guys anything interesting, and I hadn't yet gotten to the point over the last couple months where I could make things on a daily basis that I could show, even making clips for Twitter. Like, you've probably noticed our social media is pretty dead. It's because of that. But good news, we've progressed quite a bit. I'll go over some other stuff in a minute, but thanks to UE5's procedural generation stuff, setting up the cornfield and the forest around it and the whole farm area is a lot easier now than it probably would have been, and way easier than it was setting up the very small little forested park for Midnight. Now with a few, maybe like, I think it took me like a week and a half to really understand the PCG stuff and set this all up. I still don't totally get it. There's still some things that I think are a bit above my pay grade, but it's neat to be able to kind of just move these little splines along and stuff. But the big turn down bad part is optimization. So as you can see now, I'm working on making billboard trees, which is the easiest thing I've ever modeled. And it was actually pretty fun to try to figure out how to make those look as nice as possible for the far background. Annoyingly, when you guys see in a bit, you can't even tell. You can't tell all this work I'm doing just to make it look that good and be very doable is for naught. But it'll show in the final game. While I was out doing all this, Kay has been working on the barn still. She's made a lot of progress, and we've been kind of bouncing ideas off of each other for the past few months, trying to really improve the look and feel of it. Add a lot of the cyberpunk aspects that we know people have been claiming we're missing from our previous games. Importantly, we always wanted the Sense series to be taking place in a cyberpunk world, not be a cyberpunk story. If it was a cyberpunk story, we'd include, corrupt cops and corporations and all that stuff, but that's not what we really want to do. We want to show what is happening in the world outside of, Night City or Mega Tokyo or whatever you want it to be. So I also got on to animations. Didn't go well, as you can see.
I was way off.
It's not easy. Animation's not easy. It's actually way harder in Unreal than in Unity, I think. I prefer Unity's inbuilt animation making system. So I jumped back to 3D modeling. I made some tools. I had to spend a lot of time working on the farm tools. That took some research. I have grown up around farms and had farmer friends in high school and stuff, but yeah, it was pretty fun. Garden tools and farm tools. That's pretty much all I did, was lots of tools.
Dude, what's all that stuff you're grabbing?
Tools! Tools! Duct tape, zip ties, and gloves! I have to have my tools!
I also made a bunch of other things kind of from my childhood area. The game takes place near the area I grew up, so kind of thinking of things from my grandma and grandpa's house and from around town, the kind of look and feel of old farmland PA, and kind of want to plaster that onto the farm and then have the cyberpunk things kind of glued on top of it and adding some more sci-fi technology around. It's been kind of a neat process to try to figure out what those things should look like. What would a poor rural farm family be adding, and what kind of things would be necessary? What would the local township or whatever force you to have? Satellite dishes, different Wi-Fi repeaters, and things like that would kind of plausibly exist. Spent a pretty long time in Substance Painter getting used to it, really understanding the tools, and I've come to a pretty happy place with Substance. I'm having fun with it. The hardest part I've found is transparency and stuff, but that's more of an Unreal issue. Unity has a pretty great shading system for transparencies, and Unreal's is different. It's pretty heavy, so kind of toying with that. I still haven't gotten the hang of it yet, but I will. I'm going to be working on that pretty soon here. Doing the sign and these sirens, speaker system for around the cornfield was more of a learning process. I kind of wanted to start with these simpler assets before we start getting into anything crazy like characters or anything super big. The tools were a lot easier, even though they're going to be up close and personal. The next thing was working on the cornfield itself, but as I've posted a couple of videos of it on Twitter and shown screenshots here and there, I think that has been the easiest thing for me because there's like an immediate kind of idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like, the atmosphere and everything, and I think atmosphere is my strong suit. But then we had a really fun month. This was like April? Sometime in April, May.
What in the hell was that all about?
Yep, GitHub crapped out on me. GitHub died, and I lost about a month of work on my end. And that's kind of also my fault, because I wasn't pushing correctly. Good news, Xandra finished Ollie, finally. So I mentioned that Xandra 3D, she had been doing our character model for Ollie, and she will be doing some of our other characters in the future, hopefully when we have the money. I'm really excited to show you guys this. She did an awesome job. There's still some things I want to clean up on it and change on it maybe later. But overall, I think Ollie came out perfect, and we're really excited to have her in the game. The second I got it, I kind of put my temporary project I'm working on hold, and immediately started transferring everything over and learning how to do the setup. It's great. It's great. This is my favorite part of game development is bringing my characters in and moving them around. That's like absolutely my favorite part. So it was really cool. We got pretty comprehensive, I would say, AA level rig, I feel, and the functions that it has are cool. Don't want to tell you guys too much about all the stuff that we're going to be able to do with this, because some of it's going to be secrets and unlockables and stuff like that, but the costumes and stuff we're going to be able to put in the game will make this a lot easier. It's been fun to learn how to do it too. We have a modular system, so you see that I can take her jacket off, I'll be able to take her gloves and belt off, or as the player, you'll find those things as you go pretty early on, actually. This time, we won't have to rely on swapping an entire model out. So, it's pretty cool. I'm very, very excited. I think she looks great. One thing to note, the animations you're seeing on the screen are not the animations that we're using. Those will not be the final animations of the game. I am actually going to be holding off on doing animations for a bit, because we just, at the moment, don't really need anything. I think this pack that I bought for a different project works perfectly fine for right now. Some of the animations are good, and we might use those. The Lyra or whatever, the built-in Unreal ones are probably what we'll use for the most part for our demo. And unless we just, unless a bunch of people subscribe to the Patreon, and we make enough money to hire someone to do something awesome. We actually really want to get Rococo to do some mocap, especially for the fighting and the action animations. That's really big to me. As a Kamen Rider and Super Sentai fan, I want those fight scenes to be really cool, and I want the player to feel awesome when you kill the secret enemies I can't tell you about. There's been a lot of progress, I should say. We've worked on so many things. I've put a ton of time into kind of learning more of the tool sets, and I think we're finally over this hump. So I'm not gonna promise anymore about, we're gonna make a devlog every 2 months or whatever. No, I'm gonna make it when it feels like I have enough to show you or something interesting to show. So, like, for instance, right now, I had made these assets for a character's living area near the farm, and did that months ago. But there's like me showing you a couple shacks of tarps on them. That's not that interesting, right? So the big thing was, if you watch the atmosphere shift from going from the cornfield to the forest, that was something I was like, I'm really excited to show this. But then if I show you just that, who cares? it's just, it's just not enough. What you're actually seeing now also is the forest section. I'm going to rework how this works. Originally, it was going to be kind of an open world map. I don't really want to do that anymore. After playing Resident Evil 4 Remake, I really like the way they handled their kind of corridors. So we want to get that old arcadey action game feel back, and I'm probably going to rework this entire thing, cut it out. It'll also help with our performance in the areas as well. So this will be like a second level of the game. That also, if I get used to that, it'll leave open the ability for us to add additional levels. Last thing I want to talk about is our Unreal coder, blueprint guy. His name is Ronaldo, REKG. I'll put his link below in the description. He has been doing an awesome job. I really like working with this guy. He helps me understand the things and how he made them. We have weekly meetings, which is like hugely helpful. It's a big change from the past. The fact that I can actually break down everything he's making myself and rebuild it or tweak it if I need is a huge help. So we got the weapon system is in progress. It's mostly done. Just needs a couple things like unequipping. That's kind of the big one right now. We don't have any unequip function. And then I have to tie it to the inventory in a bit. He made this awesome bullet system, so we can change the effects of different bullets. The guns can have different bullets. It's like really in depth, and he did such an awesome job. I'm very excited to continue playing with it. He gave us a different damage system, so we have damage over time for bleed and fire damage and things like that. The first thing he did, actually, it was the last thing I'm showing you, is the camera system. We will have a hybrid third-person over-the-shoulder and fixed camera system. I'm debating if I want the fixed cameras to work as part of the actual experience, so you play the game in third person most of the time over the shoulder, like we're at Resi 4 or 5. Then in certain areas you have the fixed camera, or just a toggle in the menu. I haven't quite decided, to be honest. I think it's going to be dictated, first of all, on player feedback, but second of all, just on how it feels while we're making the game. As I was playing around with the new Ollie model, because she's so detailed and cool, I was kind of more feeling the idea of just sticking it to Resi 4 style. That's pretty much everything we've done this month, or well, this past 4 months, except for this other thing. I guess I'll go ahead and just open it up. You saw at the very beginning some strange footage. In June, Kay and I entered a game jam for a surreal and creepy game jam that's supposed to be built all around the idea of international folklore. I put 30 days into that and worked my ass off on it. However, big problem. On the day it was due, we were uploading, we had a couple hours, had some issues, and then before we could actually finish the game and get it uploaded, it just didn't work. So the itch.io upload max was a gig, and my file was 1.001 gigs, and nothing I did could compress it more. So I'm going to stop rambling about that and just say that we decided to turn it into a standalone product that we will be selling, and it'll be on Steam in a few weeks. The Steam page is in review. By the time you're seeing this, I'm actually should have the Steam page up for wishlisting. Please go wishlist the game. I'll roll the trailer now, and yeah, please wishlist the game. Beyond that, video will cut off after the trailer. Go to the normal title card thingy. Like, subscribe, check out our Patreon, follow our Twitter, do all the YouTube guy things. It really helps us out, helps push us in the algorithm, as our friend Dank says. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon, hopefully with more cooler updates. Thank you all.
강물, 강물, 어쩌래 왔다 오래.